want to speak on something and there's an open slot, feel free to say, hey, I've got a pocket speech. I want to talk about something. It always gives you that opportunity to get up and use your skills and hone your skills. So our first speaker tonight is our absolute newest member, Rosie Darm. And Rosie's speech tonight is entitled, My Staff Meeting. Please welcome Rosie.
Here comes the first test. Table topic, Toastmasters, and honored guest. My name is Rosie. First, I would like to start to tell you how I found out about Toastmasters. A friend of ours had a party not too long ago, and we went there. And there were many people from Toastmasters there. So this was the first time that I ever found out, or that I heard about Toastmasters. And so we asked a lot of questions. So later, the party was over. Next day, I called Christina and asked her, what is that really all about? Tell me a little bit more. And she said, Rosie, you know what? I would like to have you come with me. Just sit down, observe it, and make up your mind, you know, if that is something you like or not. And sure enough, I did this. I came with Christine the first time. I liked it a lot. So as I came home, I told my husband about it. And he said, well, you know, what is that all about? So I told him about this thing. And I said, well, why don't you come with me? So sure enough, he came with me on my second visit, and that's all the way I set up. So now I come to my being here. I am retired since 20 years. I had a business in San Francisco. It was a women exercise club. It was at the Presidio Heights. There I did, my job was staff meetings, exercise classes, exercising, doing a little accounting, most of it my husband did, and so forth, cleaning the mirrors, even cleaning, vacuuming the floor and cleaning the toilets. So and I had this business for about 10 years, and prior to my business, I worked also in a women's exercise club in San Francisco called Golden Venus. And I was there an instructor, an exercise instructor, program director, that today would say a personal trainer. That time was, and here I'm talking about the 70s now. Okay, so we're going back a long, long way. So, and this was fun, and also nutrition and counseling I did at that time. And I was there quite some time with the company, and then they transferred me to the Pleasant Hill Club, which also was a women exercise club. In those days, there were very few mixed exercise clubs. It was mainly women or men only. So I worked there for quite some time, and then I got transferred to the Pleasant Hill Club, and there I became manager, and that was just a double bonus because it was close to my home. We lived then in Concord, and so that was a short commute. Plus, being a manager now in a health spa, this is just a great thing. So, of course, doing staff meetings. That was this thing. Besides staff meetings, is also doing membership sales and keeping the staff motivated. So Golden Venus had many clubs in the Bay Area at that time, and one owner, so one person owned all those clubs. And he gave staff meetings to the members, you know, from the individual clubs. And at one time, he was asking us to take to sign up for the Dale Carnegie course. I don't know if anybody of you knew about this or heard about that. So anyhow, we all decided, yes, this is a good thing to do, and this is really helping, really business oriented, having the sales, having the staffs and so forth. And we met once a week there, and we had to be prepared for a speech. So your name was randomly chosen, and you got up and you talked. And I think at that time you started like 3 minutes talk and then going into a longer period of time. It sometimes was also possible that your name was called twice in a row. So that was very tricky because you really had to prepare always another speech for the next week. So the meetings went always well for me. There were about 30, 40 people in those meetings. And mostly they were men, because men were working, have their own businesses, and were most of the time working in upper management. So, okay, so I was called into my speech, and I did wonderful. And boy, it happened to be next meeting, my name was called again, and I was not prepared. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was standing on my feet, my mind was blank. The people in front of me turned around, like everybody wants to be a speaker. They turned around, they look at you, and I was standing there and thinking very fast of a topic, to talk about. As I was thinking, and I was talking, blah, 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 I could hear my own voice, and I was listening to my voice instead using my brain. So it was a disaster. My time was over. I was glad, and at the end of it, I was just holding my hand for my eyes, and I was sitting down, and I didn't want to see anybody anymore that day, or didn't want anybody have say hi to me. So, well, that was a waking up call for me. I could not afford this because the owner would find out. And so, at our next staff meeting here, I'm coming to the topic, and our next staff meeting in Pleasant Hill Club, it went the normal week, like always, more to keep the staff motivated, increasing the sales, membership sales, and of course, going to how can we improve the service for our members better. So, the meeting went well, and on the end of the meeting, or I should say the evening before, I just had such a brilliant idea. It was like a light came up. I said, this is great. I took 7 of those pages, because we were 7 people in the club, and I wrote always one name, one word on each page. And they were very motivating words fitting our business. And then I took this paper and I went like this, and I put it in a little basket. And I took that basket next day with me to work. And the girls were always watching. What is it in the bag? Why do you keep this junk there on your desk? So I had the meeting, and as the meeting was ending, I grabbed this little basket and I wrote this to each one. You should have got it. I wrote each one like this. Okay? So we waited till everybody had their little paper ball, and then I said, well, why don't you open it up? And then everybody reads out loud what was written in there. So there were words written on there like enthusiasm, friendliness, timely, respect, sincereness, be positive and encouraging. Now they are all words which we're really used in a club. You have to imagine a woman coming in at those size, and this I'm talking about the 70s. That was not common for women to exercise really. So when they came in, they were afraid kind of, because most of them had little bulges here or there, or just overweight, and they needed to be greeted friendly, enthusiastically. Our instructors needed to be timely, because when they had a 10 o'clock appointment, they don't want to wait till 10 after. They needed to be taken to a workout then. Showing respect and sincereness, of course, and being positive and encouraging for those which are not very good during the in the program and so forth. So anyhow, this was a wonderful meeting. We talked, the girls talked, and I talked, and there was so much energy, positive energy in that staff meeting, that on the end we all walked out doing our jobs and had that big smile on our face. It was just great. And I said, hey Rosie, this is the topic you're going to give when you go to the Dale Carnegie course, and your time is for the next speech. And that's what I did. So I talked about this by staff meeting, and as I talked about it, yes, so I told them, and I tried to do it with enthusiasm as much as I could. So anyhow, on the end, those guys turned their head around and, hey Rosie, because we know how it was before, great, you did good, and so forth. And I got a good evaluation because it was a unique thing. You know, stepping on his chair, throwing those little balls out, and everybody reading the name, you know, what was written on there. So I got a good evaluation, and I hope that you like my speech. And, well, I know I said a lot of ends. Thank you so much for listening.